Oh, hi, I'm Mercy. Welcome back to my channel. Happy Halloween! Hi, I'm Mercy, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm a professional baker and I'm here to help you level up in the kitchen. Tonight, it's all things Halloween. I want to teach you a few different treats that you can add to your dessert table for Halloween. If you're hosting the kiddos or even adults, I've got 3 simple treats that will be a big hit at your party. So let's get into it. So tonight I'm going to be showing you how to make mummy bars, chocolate covered Oreos, and Halloweenify your cupcakes. So let's start with the chocolate covered Oreos. I love Oreos. It is, one of America's favorite cookies. And this is a really simple way for you to make a cool treat that's on theme, and you can do it very, very quickly. So when you get your Oreos, you're gonna wanna make sure that you go through the package and separate the ones that are cracked from the ones that aren't. You want a full cookie that's not damaged before you make your chocolate covered Oreos. But then sometimes they will crack along the process and there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, so you're gonna wanna take an Oreo mold. These will be linked in the description. Everything you see tonight will be linked in the description for you. I've already done that homework. So you're gonna wanna take an Oreo mold, and then however you wanna do your design, you're gonna wanna take some candy melts. Tonight I'm gonna be using Meltums by the Sweet Shop, and this is one of my favorite types of candy melts. So you're going to want to melt these in the microwave. You want to start and do it in 30-minute intervals and then work your way from there. You don't want to just put it on a minute or 2 minutes because you'll burn the chocolate. Have the patience, just microwave them every 30 seconds until you get a nice thin consistency that you can work into your mold. So I'm going to take a container, put some of these in here, and this is orange. They've got every color of the rainbow. Obviously we're in Halloween theme tonight. I'm actually gonna take white. Let's do white. So we're gonna put some Meltums in our cup. You want to do about, depending upon how many Oreos you make, go ahead and start off with about 2 cups of Meltums. Again, you want to microwave them for every 30 seconds until you get a nice thin consistency. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this in a microwave safe bowl. It's a little, got somebody in the way here. So with the help of TV magic, I'll be back when this is done. I was not sure if the handle on this cup was microwave safe, so I went ahead and transferred the candy melts to what I know is a microwave safe bowl. I went ahead and put it on 20 seconds, and as you can see, it's not all the way melted. So it's warm, the melts are definitely warm, so you just wanna mash them in like that, just work them around a little bit, and again do this in 20-second intervals until it's nice and runny. So now we have our Meltums at a nice smooth consistency. We can start making our chocolate covered Oreos. So you can see here that's nice and smooth. So you're just going to want to take about a teaspoon, a little bit of a teaspoon, and put it into the cavity. Just about that much. You don't want to fill it all the way. You just want to make sure that you're going to at least cover the bottom, and then you're going to want to tap it out to even it out. So we'll do a couple. Let's just say we'll just do about 4 of them. Okay, so you're going to want to tap it. And we'll add a little bit more You want it to be just about at the halfway point in the cavity before you put the Oreo in. That might be a little bit more, but if it is, it's okay, because all it'll do is rise. Okay, so we gave it a nice good tap. That way it'll be nice and smooth on the side when you pop them out. Okay, so you want to carefully go ahead and take your Oreo, put it right in the center, and then press the cookie into there. You'll see the chocolate start to rise on the sides. That's how you know that your cookie is going down. And again, on this step, you want to be patient, you want to be gentle, that way you don't break your cookie. So just go ahead and softly press the cookie down until you see the chocolate is rising up on the sides of the cookies. That's letting you know that the cookie is going down. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Do that for your whole tray. We're just going to do 4 for tonight. Do that for your whole tray, and then you want to go ahead and cover them up. Okay. Should you happen to press them down too far, you'll see the cookie coming through onto the other side. So it's not the worst because you can always cover that up, but that's just what happens if you push it all the way down. Okay, and then once you cover the cookie, again, you want to go ahead and put about a teaspoon in there, and then you're just going to want to swirl it around until the cookie is covered and you see that you've got chocolate all the way around the circumference of your cavity. So just do that for all the cookies. And then we're going to go ahead and tap it again because we want this to be really smooth. That one I can tell needs a little bit more. Okay, nice and smooth. And then our last one. Okay, so now that I've got them covered, I'm just going to go ahead and tap that out. And then you see the chocolate will go nice and smooth. And that's what you're looking for. So once you get those nice and smooth, you want to go ahead and pop it in the refrigerator. And you can leave them in about 20 to 30 minutes. So now that we have our Oreos cooling, let's go ahead and start on the design. So I pulled out a couple of examples. These are skeletons. These are full body skeletons. So this one here was a skeleton head. Here we've got some pumpkins. And then I've got one more. And this one is a witch's brew and a witch's hat. Since I have orange, let's go ahead and do the pumpkins. Or actually, you know what? I really like the skulls. Let's do that. And these here, these will be linked below. You can go to your local craft store like Michael's or Hobby Lobby, and you can grab a bunch of these molds. These also can be used with fondant. You can wash them. They're very durable, very pliable, and they'll have the different shapes for all of the seasons. So I've got tons and tons of these, and now you'll start your collection too. So let's do the skulls. And I'm gonna put our white to the side, and let's switch and do orange this time so that we have a contrast. Want to pop this in the microwave again for 20-second intervals. That way we don't burn the chocolate. Patience is key. Okay, so I have this in for 20 seconds. You can see that it's getting soft. So we'll just go ahead and keep microwaving every 20 seconds until it's nice and soft. This one is nice and smooth. Should you need to thin it out, you can add a little bit of Crisco, and that will thin it out to a nice consistency that we need. So you see that's very smooth there. So now just gonna make sure I've got that there. So now essentially we're gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna take the orange here and I'm gonna stick it into the little cavities. This could get messy. Sometimes when I have to do a lot of these, I'll put this into a piping bag, and it's a lot neater and a lot quicker that way, but this way it works just as fine. So putting enough just to fill the cavity. You really don't want it to overflow. And then we're gonna go ahead and tap it, because again, you want it to be nice and smooth. And you can see how it smooths out right when you tap it. If you happen to have an excess, you can just sweep it off and put it back into your container. And that way the back will be nice and smooth. And then they also will pop out more easily. I'm just gonna go ahead and tap that down again. And then the back is nice and smooth again. And then we can pop this in the refrigerator for about 20 to 30 minutes. So now that we have our chocolate covered Oreos chilling in the fridge along with our skulls, let's go ahead and move on and make our mummy bars. The mummy bars we are gonna do in white. And so got a little bit left over here. Gonna add to it so that we can have enough to make the mummies. Okay, so now we've got our white candy melts melted. We're gonna go ahead and make our mummy bars. For the mummy bars, you're just gonna simply use a Rice Krispie treat. You can make these from scratch. If you would like for me to show you how to make those from scratch, go ahead and put it in the comments and I'll pop up a video for you. So you're gonna wanna take a baking sheet, line it with either parchment paper or wax paper. I'll just go ahead and move that over. Okay, and then you're gonna wanna unwrap a few Rice Krispie treats and go ahead and line them up on your sheet. Make sure that they're a couple of inches apart, that way they don't stick together. So I'll just do about 5 here. Okay, so they're all spread apart, that way they're not gonna stick together. So we're gonna put our candy melts into a piping bag. That way it'll be nice and easy to give that mummy effect. So we're gonna give it a nice stir, and then we're gonna go ahead and fill a piping bag. Okay, so that's nice and full. And you just want to go ahead and close it up. Push the candy melt down to the bottom. And then you're going to want to twist the bag. That way it's nice and firm. Okay, before we cut the tip off, we are going to want to work with the eyes. So mummies have the 2 eyes. So here we've got some little candy eyes. This again you can get at like a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby. They'll be linked down below as well. You can get them off of Amazon. So you're gonna take a couple of mummy eyes. Actually, I'll set this down. You're gonna wanna take a couple of mummy eyes and then set them onto your Rice Krispie treats. I don't typically have these nails. This is gonna be a little bit more tricky, but we'll make it work. Okay, so we've got one little mummy eye like that. So you're going to put some candy melt on the back of the eye and then put that onto the Rice Krispie treat. Again, this is tricky with these nails. So happy Halloween. So we'll go ahead and put all of the eyes on before we start making the mummy effect. If you find it difficult to put the little eyes on, you can always use some tweezers and that'll work just fine. I've done that before as well. So now that we have the eyes glued on, we can go ahead and take our candy melt that's in the piping bag and go ahead and make a mummy effect. So I will show you first. This is what your Krispies are going to look like before you do your mummy effect. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is super easy. So now you're just going to want to cut a small hole at the tip of your bag. Always start small. You can always open up the bag a little bit wider, but you can't close it any smaller. So just do a small little cut. Okay, and then you can test that just going like back and forth. And if you feel like you want your drizzle to be a little bit wider, which is how I want that to be a little bit wider, you can just go ahead and cut a little more. But again, not too much, because then you'll have to use a whole another bag. Okay, so in a zigzag motion, you're just gonna go back and forth at a diagonal and cover the entire Rice Krispie treat. As you see, I'm going all the way past the edges. That way all of the chocolate will fold onto the Krispie itself. So you're just gonna wanna do just a zigzag motion, just like that. Okay, do that for all your treats, and now you can see why they need to be spread apart so that they don't stick together and they have a good chance of drying. Okay, you do your zigzag one way, and then you're gonna want to go ahead and do it the opposite way. Okay, and just like that, you've got mummy bars. Look at how nice and easy that was. And all you're going to want to do is put your baking sheet in the refrigerator for about 20 to 30 minutes for them to harden. Now we can go ahead and take out our chocolate covered Oreos, see how they're doing, and if they're nice and firm, we can go ahead and pop them out of the cavities. So you're going to want to gently test them with the tap to see that they're firm. If they're firm and they're ready, you can go ahead and pop them out. If they feel still soft to the touch, go ahead and put them back in the refrigerator for another 5 or 10 minutes so that they can firm up. These are ready to go. So we're gonna go ahead and make another baking sheet. Gonna cover that with a parchment paper. And we're gonna go ahead and pop these bad boys out. So now I have my baking sheet lined with parchment paper. I'm gonna carefully turn the Oreos over, and then I'm just gonna push in the center, and that's gonna release it onto the tray. Okay, easy does it. Okay, so those are ready to go. And now I'm going to go ahead and check on our skulls and see how those are doing. Again, you want to give them just a soft press. If they're firm, you can pop them out. If not, put them back in for another 5 to 10 minutes. These are ready, so we're going to just go ahead and gently pop them out of the cavities as well. And there we have it, some nice little skulls. How to attach the skulls to the Oreo. You're going to want to take some of your candy melt that's still soft. Grab the skull and just put a little bit on the back of that, and that's going to serve like as a glue. Okay, and then just simply put that on, press it down for a couple of seconds, take your hand off, and there you go. So we'll go ahead and repeat that step for all of our little skulls. Press it down just a couple of seconds. Now we've got all of our skulls pressed back onto the cookies. So we'll pop this in there for about 5 minutes because there's just a small amount of the candy melt that needs to harden. While we're waiting on those to harden, let's go ahead and work on some skulls for our cupcakes. Just gonna take our white candy melt and pipe that into the cavity. As I said, if you want to do this with a piping bag, it is a lot easier, it is a lot cleaner to do. So I'll just do Just a few of those, what I have left with my candy melt. Okay, just gonna give that a good tap. Okay, perfect, nice and smooth. And then we can pop that into the fridge for about 5 to 10 minutes. So now we can go ahead and check on our mummy bars and see if they're ready. Okay, just like the Oreos, you're gonna wanna just softly give them a tap. If they're hard, they're ready to go. If they're still a little bit soft, pop them back into the refrigerator for about another 5 or 10 minutes. These look like they're nice and soft. The edge of that one though is not, so we'll give it a little more time. This one we can see where it went over the edge. All you've gotta do is gently pop that off and it'll come off nice and easily. Okay, you can do that with all of them if you need to. So now that our mummies are done, I'm gonna go ahead and put them on a plate while we wait to complete our other Halloween treats. Those look nice and cute. And then now we'll check on our chocolate covered Oreos. So our Oreos have had about 5 minutes to cool. You can kind of just gently give them a nudge to see if they'll move. If they don't, then you know they're ready. And there you go. Quick and easy chocolate covered Oreo. So now we will add these to our plate as well. There we have it. And last but certainly not least, let's work on our cupcakes. I went ahead and made some red velvet cupcakes. If you would like to learn how to make cupcakes, you can go to our Baking 101. I'll pop that up on the screen and you can take the class on how to make a cupcake. I also made some vanilla buttercream and tinted it orange, and you can also go to Baking 101 and learn how to make our vanilla buttercream. Let me grab our skulls and see how they're doing. So once I give that a touch, I see that it's still soft, so these aren't ready. We're gonna go ahead and pop them back in. All right, let's check our skulls one more time. Okay, so our skulls are nice and firm to the touch. So again, I went ahead and made some vanilla buttercream and tinted it orange for our Halloween theme, but of course you can do any color of the rainbow. I went ahead and put a coupler on the tip of the piping bag. Let me show you a coupler. A coupler, what that is it allows you to interchange the tips. So it's 2 plastic pieces. The bigger one you put inside the bag, cut the tip off so you've got some space, and then grab which tip you want to use for this one. This is a Wilton 2D, but I'll show you how you can change them out. So I also brought out a Wilton 6B and a 1M. Everyone's favorite. Go ahead and pipe your cupcakes. If you don't know how to pipe cupcakes, you're gonna learn. So now we're gonna go ahead and pipe our cupcakes. And first, we're gonna use this tip. So here we are piping with the 2D tip. I do like to have a little bit of a variety. So with that being said, let's just do one more. So I'm gonna go ahead and change out the tip, and that's how the coupler comes in handy. So all you gotta do is unscrew that. Grab the next tip if you want, because I like to have a variation in design. It gives a little more texture. Twist that back on. Sure it's nice and snug, and then I can have another design, same color, another design, and we just lost our spider. Okay, and then our Wilton 1M is very similar to the 2D, but again we want to have multiple points of texture. So I'm just now gonna pop that one off. I'll grab the Wilton 1M. We'll put that one on, and we can do another design. And then if you want it to have different colors of buttercream, you can do that as well. The world is your oyster when it comes to your creativity. So this one, I'm just gonna do some stars. Okay, so there's some stars. So I've got some swirls, textured swirls, and stars. If you want to learn how to do the different piping techniques, again, you can go ahead and check out Baking 101. I'll put the link in the description, and you can learn how to do the different textures of the buttercream. So now that we've got those piped, those are nice and beautiful. We have some white skulls here. I'm going to go ahead and put a white skull just like that. We'll do another one on here. And then let's mix it up and we'll do one on here. So now you have your 3 Halloween treats. You've got your chocolate covered Oreos, you've got your mummy bars, and you've got your cupcakes. If you're gonna have a dessert table, you can place these out nicely. If you want to do more of a grab and go, you can put these into cello bags, not the cupcakes. But you can use a cello bag. Open that up. Go ahead and put one of your little mummies inside. And then keeping on to the theme, again, you can go to your local craft store, fabric store, and find some ribbon that's on theme. So here I've got some pumpkins, and I've got some cats that say Happy Halloween. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the pumpkin. We're going to cut a nice strip off of here to close out our bag. Always cut on a diagonal so your ribbon is nice and clean. And then go ahead and tie it onto the bag. So there we have it, a nice decorative ribbon that's on theme. Let's go ahead and do our chocolate covered Oreos as well. And again, we just want to gently put it inside the bag and then put our decorative ribbon. And again, when it comes to creativity, the world is your oyster. Be creative, but just stay on theme. These cello bags really come in handy when you want your guests to take desserts away and they don't make a mess. So there we have it. Now we've got our Oreo in a nice little cello bag as well. Let's go ahead and arrange these onto one plate. I'll just go ahead and put cupcakes there with the different textures. So there you have it. Cute treats that are on theme and something for everyone to enjoy. Again, everything that you see will be linked into the description. If you've made it this far, go ahead and give this video a like. Make sure you subscribe. I'm on all socials at Oh Mercy Mercy Me. Happy Halloween. Have fun in the kitchen and keep it sweet.